talk about before my time runs out. How can we as a church break down the barriers and move the Lord's work forward? First of all, we can begin to show respect for each other. And by that I mean respect for each other's culture, language, rights, customs, etc. Black culture is not white culture. It's not European. It's black culture. Black culture, better known as gospel music, is not white music, better known as contemporary Christian music. When black people join this church, they often, not always, but they often have a great deal of adjusting to do. Now, when was the last time y'all heard some good old-fashioned black gospel music played in your ward? A few years ago, a senior sister missionary actually told me that we can't have black music in church because black music isn't reverent. Excuse me? This is my culture you're talking about. And to tell anyone that the music of their culture is irreverent to God is not showing respect. How many of you have heard of Soul Saints before? This is an LDS group that sings the hymns of the church with a little rhythm. I have Soul Saints. I love this CD. Okay? They give a whole new flair for hymns of the church. Even my husband, who attends church with me every week, and he's not a Latter-day Saint, you know, I have to give credit. I mean, every time we sing hymns in the church, he kind of looks at me and goes, okay, who died and where's the casket? I look at him and say, I don't know, but I'm looking with you, babe, because it's same with me, you know, this is not our music. Another thing that we can do is keep our hearts and minds open to people of other cultures and faiths. And I'm not talking about just black people anymore, okay? I'm talking anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their ethnic background is. I don't care where they came from, okay? I was made to quit trying to destroy this church and then subsequently brought into the fold because somebody dared to get to know me, befriend me, understand me, and most importantly, accept me where I was, for who I was, without judging me or my current beliefs. We need to stay open and listen to the Spirit more, and then be willing to obey that still small voice. It's easy to listen, harder to obey. There are still many of the old traditions and myths that are being taught in the homes of church members during family home evening. And although many of you here today would probably say that you don't have a problem with racism or people of other cultures, ask yourself how you would feel if your son or daughter came home and told you that they'd fallen in love with someone of African American or Chinese descent or some other culture or ethnic group that you find less than desirable. Are you still okay with it? Now, of course, if you just said to yourself, well, I don't find any group less than desirable, then congratulations. You are probably well on your way to being part of the solution. If, however, you sat there and actually had to think about that question, then maybe you need to start with yourself and truly examine your own feelings first before trying to help somebody else. Ask Heavenly Father to show you where your issues are and help you deal with them. And when you deal with yourself, then you can help your brothers and sisters. How can we drop racial barriers and come together? The quickest and easiest way I know of is get over it. Okay, realize that we're all God's children, and He loves us all the same. In working the Nauvoo Temple dedication, I realized this in a very real way, that Heavenly Father loved little old me, okay? Just as much as He loves the prophet or any apostle. He looked out for me in wondrous ways and gave me miraculous, on-the-spot answers to my prayers. It's one thing to pray and say, Lord, I need, and then somebody shows up and says, here you go. Thank you. You know, that's what was happening to me in that temple. Fellowshipping. Let's see, how do you fellowship a black person? Good question. Because y'all know we can whip that black attitude out on you at any time. So I'm afraid to have to deal with that attitude, right? Okay, let me help you out here. Not help, I help you. I'm going to help you out here. That help for the translators is H-E-P, not H-E-L-P. Help you out. Stop being afraid of a color. Realize that there is a person underneath that skin color. A person just like you with fears, hopes, dreams, and issues. And we all have issues, okay? We all have, I don't care who you are, you got issues. I got issues. If I got issues, I know y'all got issues. Everybody got issues, okay? The best thing you can do when you see a black person or anybody new come to your ward is go up to them and introduce yourself. Ask if they need your help. Are they here searching for someone? Can you help them find anything? Okay, I've been to some wards that were so friendly it felt like I was at home. I attended a deaf ward in Salt Lake City on a Fast and Testimony Sunday, and I was made to feel so at home that I gave my testimony in sign language in that ward, and even volunteered to say the closing prayer and relief society. Now, how many of your visitors would do that? Those sisters made me feel at home, and that's the way it should be everywhere. When I was back home in Fort Madison, Iowa, I took my grandmother with me to enrichment night, and it was her first time in the LDS church. Well, even though they meet a Community of Christ building, that's beside the point. My grandmother's a blank slate. She knows absolutely nothing about us. Now I get to talk to her. Even though the ward, she made a dish, she came with me to enrichment night, and that night it was like beans night, legumes night. And so I asked my grandmother to prepare a dish to bring to enrichment. And she did. And it went over really well. It was awesome. Everybody kept asking, who made this? Who made this? My grandma. Of course, you think I would cook something? Not a chance. Now, even though that ward had never had a black person before, those sisters made my grandmother feel welcome. They talked with her, and she got to know all of them. So when Sunday rolled around, and I invited my grandmother to come to church with me, she came. Why? Because those sisters made her want to come back. When we got to church, the sisters who had been at enrichment the week before already knew her and were quick to come up and welcome her to church. And she actually stayed all 3 hours with me and had a wonderful time sharing some of her wisdom with us in Relief Society. Now she's been put in touch with the full-time missionaries and has volunteered to help the sisters with whatever she can do. That's how it's done. It's that simple. You introduce yourself. You offer to help. You be a friend. Forget the skin color. You see, she had just as many issues about the church as some of our members do with blacks. Before I went to Fort Madison, my grandmother told her best friend that I was coming. This was all for the Nauvoo Temple dedication. And that we'd all be going through the Nauvoo Temple together. Of course, now one of her friends thought, she can get us into the open house. My grandmother said, well, yes, my granddaughter can do anything. I'm like, don't tell her anybody can go. Okay, we'll let her just think I'm awesome. That works. Well, her friend asked if I was black, and my grandmother was thinking, well, why are you asking me if she's black? Can't you see I'm black? Yeah, of course she's black. She said I was not only black, but I was a Latter-day Saint. Well, her friend, of course, who was white, had no idea that there were black members of the church. Even today, 2002, this is sad, people. There are those who don't know. There are still people out there, black and white, who still haven't heard the ban was lifted. There are still people out there who think blacks can't join the LDS church. There are still people out there who think the LDS church is racist. We know the truth. So it's up to us to be proactive and do something about it. First, we start at home. We make sure that we ourselves are living up to the Lord's standard, that our thoughts and feelings are in line with His own. Then we deal with our families. Are we teaching correct principles in family home evening? Do we teach our children to be friendly to everyone at church or school, including those who are different? The next time a black person or someone of a different persuasion comes to your ward, what will you do? Can you see past the color to the person, the child of God inside? Can you just go up to them and introduce yourself and offer a helping hand? Can you open your mind and heart to ways that might seem different from your own? Can you listen to music or hymns with a beat that you're not quite used to and still think that it's reverent? Are you open to having a new experience with people you've never met? Are you willing to humble yourself and be teachable and learn from someone of another race, ethnic group, or background. Recognize that not all of us are in the same place in our spiritual growth, and it doesn't matter if we're black, white, or whatever, we all have to pass the same test of life. The tests are individualized. And yours is meant just for you, and mine is meant just for me. The goal is to pass. Our trials will all be different. So from now on, please don't let race be a stumbling block for you in your test anymore.